My next guest helps women business owners identify and eliminate the self-sabotaging language and behaviors that are stopping them from creating the most kick-ass life. Please welcome Debbie Pickus. Welcome to the Powerful Female Leaders Podcast. I'm your host, Anna Patricia Bourgeois, certified business coach. I am here to help you up-level, generate consistent wealth, increase your confidence, attract dream clients, and master your mindset so that you can fully own your power and achieve next-level results in your online business and beyond. Every week, a powerful conversation will take place with amazing guests, or I'll share from my experience to help inspire you to start and scale the business of your dreams while being powerfully you. The time has come to stop playing small, stop hiding, and stop waiting. Now is the perfect time for you to passionately pursue your heart's desire as the powerful leader you were born to be. Are you ready? Let's do this. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Powerful Female Leaders Podcast. I am here today with the amazing Debbie. I cannot wait to interview her. Hello.
Hello, Anna. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited.
This is a great opportunity. It's a great way to start pretty much the first week of the year. I mean, last week didn't really count, did it?
No, it didn't.
We're not counting yet.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to have you on because I know you are the expert in eliminating the self-sabotage language and behaviors that are stopping us from truly being our most kick-ass self. And I know a lot of women entrepreneurs listening to this podcast may have some of these behaviors. So I cannot wait to dive deeper into that. But first, please share with us your story, where you come from, and why do you do what you do?
This work that I'm doing now really only started a few years ago. I was always more I was more in the fashion industry early on in my
Mm-hmm.
career and fashion merchandising, and then I was in fitness for many years and still am. I took my fitness background and started my company, which is Team Fireball, and we started doing fitness and activity-based team building events for companies.
Mm.
It was I loved the idea of business people being able to get out of their comfort zone and do something physical activity as a bonding experience. And because of my years of teaching fitness classes, I'm really great at if somebody's a beginner or they're a novice or they're just uncomfortable. I'm great at making it so that everybody can feel included.
Mm-hmm.
That morphed into self-defense training programs, just because we partnered with somebody who had a background in that. I've got a fitness and martial arts background, so it was like a perfect segue for us to partner with him. But the thing that I found that I loved most about that was the powerful awareness, the
Mm.
powerful presence that was important to create in order to keep yourself safe. So a lot of the work when I was teaching, it was less about the self-defense moves and it was more about how you held yourself, how you showed up,
Mm.
how you presented this powerful, non-victim like
Yeah.
self as you walked down the street or you walked into, and it translated into if you had to walk into a boardroom, how you showed up and how powerful you felt and how you didn't look scared, you had confidence. What ended up happening from there is I was in a coaching program, and a lot of the work in that coaching program was around mindset.
Mm.
And I thought, this is a great idea because we all, right? We all have
Yeah.
beliefs. We all have limiting beliefs. We all have things we do. We all the I'm not good enough, I'm not enough,
Mm-hmm.
common thing that is in so many of our heads translates across the board. And I had an opportunity to do work around this, and then I had an opportunity to get certified in the work. And I truly wasn't planning on becoming a coach. I really just did it for
Mm.
myself.
Mhm.
But I started seeing how when I would speak or when I would do some of my seminars and I would bring that part out, people really gravitated toward it and loved
Mm.
it. And so, another part of this, I will tell you, is that years ago, I was going through a very rough time financially and emotionally. I was going to lose my home that I had purchased for myself after I had gotten
Mhm.
divorced. I had a relationship that ended. I had another business that was going down the tubes. And I found myself in a very abusive relationship where not good enough and you're a failure and all these things were the words that I would hear on a regular
Mhm.
basis. But I wasn't speaking to somebody else, I was speaking to myself.
Mm.
And nobody was speaking those words to me, I was speaking them to myself. And one day I had this epiphany. And the epiphany was that because my daughter actually just got off the phone with her at the time was about 16 years old, and I imagined myself speaking to her the way I was speaking to myself.
Mm.
And all of a sudden it hit me like a ton of bricks. Oh my gosh. Because I could see in my mind's eye her face crumble before my very eyes if I'd spoke to her the way I spoke to myself. And so often, I know men do this as well. I typically work more with
Mhm.
women. We women will do this. We would never speak to a loved one that way. We would never speak to our kids or our relatives or our good friends or anybody
Mhm.
else the way but we allow ourselves to speak that way to ourselves. And it's just as bad. It's worse. It's completely abusive.
Mm.
So that language is the self-sabotaging
Mhm.
language, right? Because it's like, you can't do this. You're not good enough to do this. You screwed that up. You're a freaking failure. You messed up everything. You shouldn't try this new job. You'll never get that. I mean, you name it,
Mhm.
right? We all know the language that we
Mhm.
hear, but that was the beginning of me understanding that this work was very, very, very important.
Mhm.
And that there were many of us out there that needed it
Yeah.
because God, we're all pretty damn kick-ass if you think about it, right? We really are
Yeah, for
kick-ass.
sure.
But my God, we minimize ourselves.
Yes, so much. Oh my gosh, I love this so, so much. Thank you for sharing that. And I mean, where do you believe like all of these like inner critic, like that self-sabotage comes from? Because for me, I think it comes from like the pressure that I put on myself, but like where do you see it mostly coming from?
We all create these belief systems when we're children,
Mhm.
right? And basically between the time you're born and the time you're, anywhere from 6 to 7 years old, you're recording every single situation that's happening around you.
Mhm.
And it's not necessarily that somebody said to you you're not good enough, but somebody said something or did something or you heard something and we attach a meaning to it.
Mhm.
So, for example, if someone said to you, "Here, let me show you a better way to do this thing," you might think, "Oh my God, I'm not doing it right," and then you take "I'm not doing it
Mm.
right" with you everywhere. And so we all have because we don't have a VCR, or a DVR where we could like go back and like, I mean, VCR, what am I, that's how old I am. But I mean, like we our lives aren't, we can't just rewind our life and look
Yeah.
back and be like, oh, there's where that happened,
Yeah.
right? It becomes a belief, and the older we get, the more we solidify it. And what our minds do
Mhm.
is our minds look for evidence to support our beliefs. So if you've
Mm.
ever heard the expression we see what we believe,
Mhm. Yeah, for sure.
there's so much incoming, there's so many things coming at us all the time that we filter out all of it except for the things that support our belief system. Like
Mhm.
that's what we focus on. Like, oh, there's like it's a reticular activating system, right? When
Mhm.
if you suddenly decide you're going to buy a new car, suddenly you see that car all over the road. You
Yeah.
know that
Yeah.
story. But it's not like everybody just went out and bought the car the same day. It's been there. You just have been filtering it out. And
Yeah.
that's what happens with these limiting beliefs.
Mm.
So, somewhere in your upbringing,
Mhm.
there might have been um, you can't fail, or
Mhm.
a pressure to do better,
Yes.
or, some kind of thing. And I don't know
Yes.
what it is until, we have a long conversation. But truly, there was something somewhere that, if I don't if I don't do better, then this thing might happen, or I
Mm.
have to do this, otherwise this thing might happen.
Mm-hmm.
And when I work with clients, typically what I do is we uncover what the one or two or three or four beliefs is.
Mm.
But what we'll find is they are um, apparent through pretty much all aspects of life. It comes up everywhere. It
Yeah.
doesn't just come up in one place. Like you might be saying in business, I'm putting pressure on myself to do
Yeah.
X, but there's other places in your life where you're putting pressure on yourself to do X, right?
Mm. Yeah.
It may not be as apparent because right now you're focused on business, and I'm making that up, but I'm just guessing because I know that's where I
Yeah.
am right now. It's like focused on business,
Yeah.
focused on this aspect of my life. And then, but I can look in other areas of my life and I can see the same shit because it's there.
Yeah, that makes so much sense for sure. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
So, how do you begin to actually kick that self-sabotage to the curb and truly like silence that inner critic? Like what's the first step?
Well, the first step is knowing that it's there, right?
Mhm.
With anything, we've got to have awareness. Even in self defense, we taught that. Like, first thing is noticing that
Yeah.
this thing is happening. So, when I'm working with somebody, I will kind of have them do a little assessment. We'll figure out kind of some of the places that some of
Mhm.
these things are coming up, and then we dig a little deeper and find out what's happening underneath. So the first step is, yes, create some awareness. Second of all, it's you're going to, like I said, about suddenly I had this awareness of how I was speaking, right?
Mm, yeah.
Listen to the language. So when I speak to a group, I will typically have them write down all thing anything like that they might have said to themselves that day. I'm not good enough, or I never get
Mm.
this done on time, or I'll never lose the weight, or uh God, I screwed that up again, or any of the language. And I just have people become aware of the language,
Mm.
because then you've got to look underneath and say, all right, well, what's really under this language, right? um so
Mhm.
just as a quick thing that people can do, watch your language. Really pay
Yes.
attention. If you say things, when you say something to yourself that might be a little disparaging, would you say it that way to somebody you love? If you
Mm.
wouldn't say it to a loved one, if you wouldn't say it to a child or a spouse or a partner or a sibling or whomever, right? If you wouldn't say it to somebody else, don't say it to yourself. And I use child because as a parent, we want to protect our children so much we won't speak to them that way, but not everybody's got children. So you just have to think about who's somebody I love so much in this world, and it would break their heart if I spoke to them that way.
I'm curious to know, like, what would you say is like the key to your growth and success today?
It is definitely adopting this powerful mindset and continuing to do the work. I mean, I do this work, but I have to reach out to my coaches and my mentors to keep me on track.
Mm.
I think that the
Mhm.
mistake that a lot of people make is that they get to a certain level and then they think that they've got it. And you know as well as I
Mm.
do, we never have it. I mean,
Yeah.
we may
No.
well, no, we'll reach a new level, but with each new level comes a new challenge, a new growth, a new experience, and just depending on if we're all interested in growing in our lives and our business and our work and our relationships, whatever the thing is, you have to continue to grow yourself. I heard an
Mhm.
amazing fitness mentor say this years ago at a conference. He said, if you're not moving forward, it's not that you're staying still, you're actually losing ground and moving backwards. And that really stuck with me
Mm.
because we do we it's like as you get older, you lose height, and you
Yeah.
lose body mass, and you lose all these things unless you're continuing to take care of yourself. And I feel it's the same
Mm.
thing. So um I think the growth is that I do the work around this personal development and my own mindset on a regular basis. Just
Mhm.
because I work in this field doesn't mean that I don't fall down. I absolutely do. I mean, I absolutely do, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm a human being.
Yeah.
And just because you do the work and you discover where these beliefs come from, you can ascend out of that, but it doesn't mean that they're never going to come back. I make a joke on like it's like a bad
Mhm.
ex-boyfriend. They just when you
Mhm.
think you're rid of them, they text you. And so
Mm.
you have to decide, do I want
Mhm.
to let that bad ex-boyfriend in my life again or no? Okay. Or it's like, hey, I see you over
Mhm.
there, but no, I'm not falling
Mhm.
for that again. I mean, I love that
Yeah.
analogy because I think so many people can understand it. And gentlemen, I know there's bad ex-wives and bad ex-girlfriends, so not leaving you out, but this is my life. Um, but
Yeah.
so you have to continually grow,
Yeah.
continually get support. Have your mentors,
Yeah.
have your coaches, have your people that surround you, have your masterminds, whatever it is,
Mhm.
and your rituals and your routines
Mhm.
and all the things that help you grow and just keep growing.
So important. Ugh. Okay, so I have $1 million question. Does imposter syndrome ever go away?
Anytime you're going to go to that next level of growth,
Yes.
anytime you're going to expand, anytime you're going to go somewhere new, you're going to experience some discomfort, either that or you're not stretching enough. And I think it's natural to feel that way. I think if I also but see I also think that we don't recognize, it's really hard for us to see our talents.
Mm.
It's hard for us to
Yeah.
see our flaws and imperfections. It's hard for us to see our talents. What does Les Brown say? You cannot see the picture if you're in the frame. So we
Mhm.
all have these blind spots. And
Yeah.
which is why coaches and mentors and therapists and whatever other support, right? Personal trainers
Mhm.
for your, relationship coaches. I mean, it doesn't matter what the thing is. I just think that we have to find people that we trust, that are truthful with us, that hold us accountable, but lovingly, right?
Mhm.
And help us grow. But I think that it just depends on the level of imposter syndrome and what's really
Mhm.
going on underneath it. And I mean, I'm not a licensed therapist, so
Mhm.
so I can't speak to that. There's people that have been through trauma and things like that. I don't speak to that. Um, but I think you can improve on
Yeah.
everything depending on how much support and effort and help and guidance and growth that you put into it.
Love it. Yeah. Thank you so much for saying all of
I
that.
hope that was good.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Because I do too feel like at every level you're gonna experience some of it for sure.
Yeah, some kind of, yeah, there might be imposter syndrome, there might just be some lack of confidence,
Yeah.
a little self-doubt. Can I really do this? What if I fail? What if I fall on my face? I mean, I just think that's a natural human emotion, and understanding where it
Yeah.
comes from, again, that awareness. Where's this
Yes.
actually coming from? Oh, there's that bad boyfriend again. You know? Got it. He
Love
texted me and I didn't see the text, but now I see it.
That's so funny.
Right?
So I ask this to everyone who comes on the podcast, and I'm very
Mhm.
curious to know your answer. What does being a powerful leader mean to you?
Just showing up as your most powerful self, right? Whatever that is. And some days you may not be feeling that way, and it's really okay. I also think as a leader to share the vulnerabilities, share the failures.
Mm,
I think a lot
mhm,
of times people think that showing up as a powerful leader means that you're perfect and nobody you don't want to nobody should see your flaws or your imperfections or your
mm,
mistakes that you've made or your insecurity. But truly,
mhm,
I've learned more from a leader who is a kick-ass leader but also shares, like, no, I did fail
mm,
at this thing, and I did this, and I went through a
mhm,
rough time, uh, and you know, but not from a victim place, just more from a, hey, we're all human and we all make mistakes or we all fail or whatever.
yeah.
Anybody that's not failing isn't trying at anything. You know, you
Exactly.
know, you know that. So
I love that.
yeah,
Yeah, I know
yeah. But
that.
I just think
Yeah.
it's really just showing up in a powerful place to support others and also without arrogance. There's enough to go around. if I show up as a powerful leader, I'm not worried that somebody else is going to get something I'm not.
Yeah.
Like helping others grow, lifting others up. That's a powerful leader.
Yes, love it. So, do you have any last piece of wisdom that you'd like to share with the audience today?
Have fun. I mean, actually laugh, have fun, take care of yourself. I did hear something really great today, and it wasn't, I mean, I had to paraphrase it on my Facebook page, but we carry around fear a lot. I mean, there's a lot of things to be afraid of right now, we're nervous about and everything else, but
Mm-hmm.
truly it's like, if we're so fearful about what's going to happen next, we
Mm-hmm.
aren't we aren't enjoying what's happening now. And so enjoy your life. I mean, yeah, it's if I don't make my goal this year, I mean, I want to, obviously. I'm going to try. I'm going to do the best I can. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
show up powerfully. But if my goals don't end up being met, eh, and I'm worrying about that, I'm not going to meet them anyway. Just, I don't
Mm.
know. It's not live in the present, but it's enjoy the present. Be grateful for the present. Look around,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of things out there you can't control. So don't try and control
Yeah.
everything. You set your intention, you be as powerful as you can be, and as resourceful as you can be, but
Yeah.
enjoy what you've got going right now.
I love it. I love that so much. So, where can people go to connect with you further in the online space?
They can find me on Facebook. It's Debbie, my maiden name, rapport, like you have a rapport with somebody, and then it's Pickus, like pick us, pick us. Raise your hand, pick us. And then I'm Debbie Pickus on LinkedIn. Lastly, they can go to my website, which is www.team-fireball.com. I do have a special. So I just created this because I feel like at the first of the year, everybody's offering a lot of things that are long term, right? It's 3 months or 6 months or a year or, whatever else. So
Mm-hmm.
I created a 90-minute intensive. They're one-on-one, but it's a 90-minute
Mm-hmm.
eliminate self-sabotage intensive. And basically a lot of the things we just talked about, I will go deep in a conversation, and we will find out what it is that is underneath that is creating the self-sabotage, and we
Mm-hmm.
will we will flip the switch on that, and then I will give them some follow-up work and things that they can do on a regular basis. So again, anybody interested in that would just need to, number one, mention that they heard about it on this show.
For sure. Well, thank you so much for sharing all your value, sharing your story. This was amazing. I'm so grateful for you.
Thank you. I'm grateful for you. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Powerful Female Leaders podcast. If you love this episode, make sure to spread the message, leave a review, and subscribe. I would forever be grateful for you. I also want to hear from you, and I want to know your feedback and your questions for future episodes. So don't be shy, say hi, and send me a message at Powerful Female Leaders Podcast on Instagram. Until then, I'll see you on the next episode.